Good morning, everyone. So today in today's lecture, we have already started with the chapter valuation of business. We have done sums on goodwill. Now the second part of the chapter where we have to value the share. So today we will start with valuation of shares. So under valuation of shares, now let us understand what is valuation of shares. So why is valuation of shares done? So normally when there is a change in ownership, जैसे for example during amalgamation, to find out the value of the business, even because when the company is getting purchased by an other company, the other company has to pay for the pay the other company for the shares of the other company. For example, A Limited wants to purchase B Limited, तो B Limited का जो shares है उसका value मालूम होना चाहिए during the purchase. So therefore, valuation of shares is to value the share is important. Now, when do we value the shares? The shares are valued during sale or purchase of shares. Now it may be, for example, a limited company, and private limited company shares are not valued in the stock exchange. So we have to calculate the value of shares whose shares are not quoted on the stock exchange. So this category of shares, the valuation has to be done. Now, what may be the other reasons for valuation of shares? It may be sale or purchase of a large number of shares, enabling the purchaser to acquire control of the management of the company. So to here also, when large number of shares are purchased by a company, by someone individual company, so that time the value of the shares is important so as to acquire control in the management of the company. Now it may be also due to amalgamation that we have already told. So it may be sale of the entire company on amalgamation. There may be a valuation. Amalgamation, you say absorption or takeover. There will be a need to value the shares. Then there may be other reason, conversion of one class of shares into another. Preference shares being converted into equity shares. There may be a need to value the shares. So, and then valuation of assets means shares held by an investment company. Held by an investment company. Then there may be also the other reason may be for determining the income tax when there is a profit on sale of shares. To determine the tax liability, determine the tax liability on profit or profit on sale of shares. This may be also a reason, and maybe during when the shares are offered as a security to take to go for to take a loan, that time also the bank have to value the share. On the basis of the valuation only the loan amount can be ascertained. So these are some of the reasons why there is a valuation of shares. Now, how do we do the valuation of shares? So shares may be valued. Now we have understood the reasons for valuation of shares. Now how to value the share is one another question. So shares may be valued. Shares may be valued by, there are altogether three methods, but you can say two methods. Net asset method. The first one is net asset method, and the second one is yield method. I'll explain you these methods one by one. Yield method, and there is one more method which is a combination of both of them, which is known as fair value method. So net asset method, yield method, and fair value method. Fair value is the combination of net asset and yield. मतलब when we take the average of net asset and yield, we get the fair value method valuation of shares. Means value per share. The formula is very simple for fair value method. It is valuation of share as per net asset method plus valuation of shares as per yield method divide by 2. You get the fair value method valuation of share as per fair value method. So to understand the fair value method, we will have to first go through net asset method, go to understand net asset method and yield method. So one by one, let us start with the methods in valuation of shares. The first method, as I have already told you, is the net asset method. Now, from the name itself, you will understand that net asset method means, how do you get the net asset? Net asset we get when we take all the assets in the company in the revised value minus external liabilities. We get the net asset. So when we value the shares under net asset method, this method is also known as, इसको और भी नाम है. So what is it called? It is also called as asset backing method. Asset backing method, or it is also called as intrinsic method, intrinsic value method. This is also known as breakup value method. So net asset methods are referred by other names also, such as asset backing method, intrinsic value method, breakup value method. So now this method is mainly used when the company is getting liquidated. Means जब कंपनी बंद होते वक्त, जब हम वो कंपनी का बिजनेस का वैल्यूएशन करते हैं, एंड उस बिजनेस का वैल्यूएशन के बाद, वो होने के बाद जो शेयर्स का वैल्यूएशन करते हैं, दैट इज नेट asset method. So under net asset method means whenever we want to use this method to value our share, this method can be considered, can be used at when the company is being liquidated. When the company is being, so this value, the value, the value under valuation of share under the net asset method, net assets method is calculated, is worked out, calculated as if assuming that the company is, the company is being liquidated. What is our basic assumption here? That the company is getting closed, getting dissolved, getting liquidated. So this is the basic assumption when we, and this method is basically used when there is a amalgamation and we want to value the shares of the company. We take this method under consideration. So the here while computation, while calculating this method, what we do, let us see the computation of valuation of shares, valuation of shares under net asset method, under net asset method. So here what will be our step one? Our step one is to, step one is to add up all assets, to add up all assets. Now when we are adding up all assets, here what we will do, we will take the revised value if given, revised value or the balance sheet book value. If revised value is not given, we will take the balance sheet value. I've written only balance sheet value. So what we will do here, our step one is to add up all assets. And here what we will do, here one thing again I have to write here is this, when we are adding up, we have to include goodwill also. Include what? Value of goodwill. Include value of goodwill. If it is given, see, value of goodwill we want revalued, revalued figure, new figure. If it is given, and if not given, they will say, they will give how to calculate. So we will have to include the value of goodwill here, and also we will include the trading assets. Means when we are calculating the adding up all assets, their all asset includes goodwill also and non-trading assets like investment which is not related to business. तो हम वो सब assets को include करेंगे, but we will not be including, we will, but to exclude, not to include means exclude. What we will have to exclude? Fictitious assets. Fictitious assets hai in the asset side. Fictitious assets. You know what are fictitious assets? Fictitious assets like profit and loss account. Profit and loss account, when it is appeared in the asset side, when it is appeared in the asset side, it is a loss debit balance. So we will not include that. If that is preliminary expense, we will not include that. Preliminary expenses, underwritten commission, discount on issue of shares or debentures. So if there are any fictitious assets, we have to exclude it here. We will have not add any fictitious asset, but we will include goodwill and non-trading assets such as investment, which is not related to our, which are not related to our, what you say, not related to our business. So now after this step, we will go to our next step. Our next step is to deduct external liabilities. Our next step is what? Step 2. Step 2 is to deduct external liabilities. External liabilities. So external liabilities, you know what is external liabilities? External liabilities include current liability, current liabilities and provision, current liabilities and provisions, and long-term borrowings. Means other than capital and reserves and surplus, we have to consider other liabilities, external liabilities, liabilities which are not internal are external liabilities. So what we will do, we will deduct, we will add up all assets and we will deduct external liabilities. What is, we will get our step 3 में we will get our net assets. We will get our net assets. We will get our net asset. This is nothing but value of business. This is nothing but value of business. So what is our step 1? We will add up all assets. Here we will include goodwill, non-trading assets, but we will exclude fictitious assets. And that is step 1. Step 2 is deduct all external liabilities. And then step 3, we get our net asset value. Net asset value is value of business. And from here, what we will do, our step 4, we will deduct preference share capital. We will deduct preference share capital. Preference share capital. So preference share capital, if there is a mention that it has to be, if during redemption or during repayment, if the preference shareholders are eligible to be repaid at a premium, if the question has a mention that preference shareholders, preference share capital has to be repaid with the premium. So we will, what we will have to do, we will add premium on redemption, if any. If there is the mention of premium on redemption, well, when we are repaying the preference shareholders, if premium has to be paid, then that also has to be deducted. So including premium, if any. So I will write this way, including premium on redemption, if any. If that is there, we will have to deduct. So what happened, I have not shown this xxx, this I will show here. So what I will do here, no, I don't want here, 1 minute. I will show it here in the, here I will show that this is step 2. This will be in bracket na, because हम क्या करने वाले हैं, step 2, 1 minute, step 2 is here. Let me correct this. So हमारा step 2 जो है, यहाँ पे bracket में we will include this. Okay, so what we will get our net asset. We will get our net asset, which can also be told as valuation of business. Valuation of business. Value of business. And our step 4, what we will do, we will deduct preference share capital, preference share capital, premium if it is there. So what we will get after deducting the premium, after deducting the preference share capital along with premium, we will get our net assets. So here what we will need, before this is done, then we will get our surplus on liquidation. We will get our surplus on liquidation. Surplus on liquidation. There is a special kind of preference shares who are known as participating preference shares. So participating preference shares are those preference shares who has claim in the surplus. Means क्या होता है? Participating preference shares are those preference shares who has right on the surplus available on liquidation. मतलब इक्विटी शेयर्स को भी पे करने के बाद, मतलब सबको पे करने के बाद भी अगर कोई एक्स्ट्रा पैसा बचता है, दैट इज सरप्लस ऑन लिक्विडेशन, तो वो पैसा में हक इवन द प्रेफरेंस शेयर होल्डर्स विल get a right there on that surplus amount. So what we will do, this is step 4, deduct preference share capital. And here if what we will do, surplus on liquidation, here one thing, step 5, what we will do, we will less share in surplus of participating preference share holders. If they are getting right on the surplus, they are getting right on the surplus amount, if any. If there are any participating preference shareholders, so they get a right on the surplus. उनको surplus जो भी है उसमें भी उनको हक मिलना चाहिए. They should get their claim on the surplus value, so that we will pay. And उसके बाद लास्ट में जो बचता है, that is for whom the last amount what is left out, that the last step 6, the final one here, this is the net assets available for equity share holders. This is for the equity shareholders. We can call it as equity. I will write in the next line. Equity shareholders fund. Shareholders fund. So this is at the time when this method, when we do solve according to this method, our assumption is that the company is getting liquidated. So as you all know, preference shareholders have a preference during repayment of capital. So before paying to the equity shareholders, we will have to pay, before paying to the equity shareholders, we will have to pay the preference shareholders as they have preference while repayment of the capital. So we will first pay the preference shareholders, and then finally whatever is left will be to the equity shareholders. Now this belongs to the equity shareholders. This belongs to the equity shareholders. So now what we are more concerned, we are more concerned with the valuation of shares. हमें तो शेयर का वैल्यू चाहिए. So शेयर का वैल्यू चाहिए, तो what we will do, value per year, two things we can find out. Value per minute. First let me make it capital. Value per equity share. Value per equity share will be net value, like I have written it as equity shareholders fund. That is net asset available to equity shareholders. Net asset available to equity shareholders, or equity shareholders fund, divide by number of equity shares. Divide by number of equity shares. So जब ये करेंगे तो हमें मिल जाएगा, तभी हमें मिल जाएगा वैल्यू पर इक्विटी शेयर. So getting my point, when this is the value to the equity, this is net assets available for equity shareholders, this is the value amount available या surplus available to the, we may also write it as surplus available to the equity shareholders. Available to the equity shareholders. So that divide by number of equity share, you will get the value per equity share. Same way, if we want value per preference shares, value per preference shares, then what we will write, that will be the amount available to preference shares. If it is participating preference shares, they have also got the surplus. They have also got a share in surplus. Share in surplus. करेक्ट. उनको उनका कैपिटल तो प्रीमियम वो अमाउंट तो मिला ही है, उनको साथ में सरप्लस में भी शेयर मिला है. डिवाइड बाय नंबर ऑफ प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स. डिवाइड बाय नंबर ऑफ प्रेफरेंस shares, we get the value per preference share. So now what I will do is, now let us see one sum based on this first method. Based on this, before going to the second method, I will solve a sum on this method. Then we will move to the second formula, second method, and then we will do the third method, because our third method is just a average of the first two methods. So first let us do a sum on the first method, what we have just seen. The position of the company is as follows. There are 2000 equity shares of rupees 10 each. There are 2000 equity shares of rupees 10 each, which is coming to 20,000. Then there are 100 participating preference shares of rupees 100 each, 10,000. Amount realized from the sale of assets. Amount realized from the sale of assets. Liability is payable, and we have to find out the value of equity shares and preference shares, participating preference shares, because these are participating preference shares. So let us start our sum. let me add a table here, then it becomes more easy and convenient. So particulars and rupees. So first one, how much amount have we realized from assets? Amount realized from, because the business, this is for example, the business is getting sold out during Amal. So here what happened, assets have got sold out. What is the value we have got? Revised value or realized value, whatever is given, it is 41,800. And then from this amounts realized from sale of asset, we will pay our liabilities, na? Liabilities payable. Liabilities payable. How much is the amount? 8,500. We will get the net asset, right? We will get the net asset value. It is value of business. It is how much? 33,300. From this, firstly, we will pay the preference shareholders. We will pay the preference share capital. ये जो पैसा बचा है इसमें सबसे पहले प्रेफरेंस शेयर कैपिटल को पे करेंगे. वो कितना है? इट इज 10,000. सो हमारे पास कितना पैसा बचता है? सरप्लस अवेलेबल, surplus available for equity, and because ये participating preference shares है तो उनको भी surplus में हिस्सा मिलेगा. participating प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स, अगर ये पार्टिसिपेटिंग प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स नहीं होता तो ये बचा हुआ पूरा का पूरा बिलोंग करता है इक्विटी शेयर्स को. दीज वर नॉट द पार्टिसिपेटिंग प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स, एवरीथिंग would have been left out for the equity shareholders. Now what we will do, this is, यहाँ पे से हम लोग क्या करेंगे, ये इसमें से पहले तो इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स को उनका क्लेम दे देते, वो माइनस कर देते हैं. 1 मिनट, ये सरप्लस लिखने से पहले, सरप्लस अभी नहीं है, 1 मिनट. हाँ, व्हाट आई विल डू, जिसको मैं कुछ नाम नहीं देती हूँ, इसमें से मैं लेस कर देती हूँ इक्विटी शेयर कैपिटल. सरप्लस ऐसे नहीं निकालते हैं, पहले तो हम लोग इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर को माइनस करते हैं. उनको कितना, उनका व्हाट इज देयर कैपिटल, इट इज 20,000. then this one, what is left out now is the surplus available for both equity and preference. It is how much? 3,300. अब ये 3,300 I will have to divide to both of the equity and preference shares. Now how to divide this 3,300 among the equity and preference? We will have to find out the ratio of the paid up capital. We'll have to find out the ratio of the paid up capital. So what is the ratio? How much preference shares we have, how much equity shares we have, दोनों का रेशो निकालना है. इक्विटी एंड preference. What is the ratio? Equity is 20,000, preference is 10,000. So this becomes 2:1, correct? So now what we will do, हमें हमारे पास 3,300 है. इसको ये रेशियो में पहले प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स का देखते हैं. पहले प्रेफरेंस शेयर होल्डर्स को उनका सरप्लस दे देते हैं. कितना होगा? 3,300 into 1 divide by 3. How much is it coming? 3. How do you got the 3? 2 plus 1 is 3. So preference is 1. Equity is 2 share. So 3,300 into 1 upon 3. You get 1,100. And same way, we will have to find out for the equity also. We will have to find out for the equity also. Correct? Find out for the equity. So इक्विटी का रेशो क्या है? इक्विटी का रेशो है 3,300 इंटू 2 डिवाइड बाई 3. 2 divide by 3. How much are we getting? We are getting 2,200. Now what we will find out? We will find out value of preference shares and equity shares. So value of preference shares is how much? Unka capital 10,000 and they have got 1,100 in the surplus. So capital amount is 10,000, surplus amount is 1,100, divide by number of shares, which is 100. Number of, see, I have given the formula above. Formula value of preference share, amount available to preference shares, जितना उनको पे करना है, प्लस शेयरिंग सरप्लस डिवाइड बाय नंबर ऑफ प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स. So number of preference shares in the question is how much? It is 100. Number of equity is 2,000. So pay attention here. So divide by 100. How much we are getting? We are getting 11,100. Divide by 100, which is equal to what is the value of one equity share? It is 111. So same way we will have to find out the value of equity shares also. How much equity shares are getting? Equity shares are getting 20,000 of their capital and 2,200 in the surplus. Divide by number of shares are 2,000. So it is coming to 22,200 divide by 2,000, which is equal to how much is the value per share? Value per share is coming to 11 rupees 11.10. With this, we have found out the value of equity share and preference share. So with this sum is done. So the sum is done. Now we have seen one sum in the net asset method कि कैसे sum solve करना है. But net asset किधर suitable होता है? Net asset सिर्फ suitable होगा when there is a amalgamation or if there is a loss making sick company, उसका company का वैल्यूएशन करना है उस कंपनी के शेयर्स का, तो दिस मेथड इज सूटेबल. और टू कैलकुलेट द टैक्स or to the banks to find out how much loan, if the company want to take a loan keeping their shares securities, so that for that purpose or a shareholder want to apply for a loan on the basis of the shares, then this method can be done. But the limitation of this method is that this method is not suitable for a going concern. Now, what do you mean by a going concern? Going concern means a company which, as we normally, one of the assumption of a company is that the company is going to run for long, for infinity. We never assume that the company will close down. We always have a positive approach that the company will work for you many number of years. So going concern means the company will be running for many years. So for this assumption, यहाँ पे फॉलो नहीं कर सकते, बिकॉज यहाँ पे तो हम कंपनी के असेट्स को सेल करते हैं, लाइबिलिटीज को पे करते हैं। यहाँ पे हम अज्यूम करके चलते थे द कंपनी इज गेटिंग लिक्विडेटेड। Here the assumption while calculating net asset method is the company is getting liquidated. So this method cannot be this method does not consider the going concern aspect of the business. So for that reason, we have our second method which will compensate for that purpose, that going concern को ध्यान में रखते हुए the second method has been formed, which is known as the yield method. The second method, which is known as the yield method. The word yield itself means return. So yield method considers the returns, the profits made by the company. See, normally when we think from the point of view of an investor who is investing his shares, who is investing his money on the shares of the company, what will be his expectation? What will he expect? He will expect for a return. Now that return may be dividend. तो शेयर्स में जो रिटर्न मिलता है, यील्ड मिलता है, yield means return, that yield is known as dividend. So here in this method there are two subsections, means there are 2 point of views in this method. One which is known as expected dividend basis. So when we are calculating yield method, there are 2 point of views, there are 2 ways. So there are 2 ways in which we can solve this method. There are 2 ways. One is expected dividend basis and the other one is expected earning basis. Other one is expected earning basis. Means there are 2 point of views, there are 2 ways in which we do the yield method, that is expected dividend basis and expected earning basis. Now, what is the difference between two of these methods, two of these ways, expected dividend and expected earning? So normally when we consider about a small investor who has some shares of this company, so he will expect what he will be concerned, a small investor will be concerned on the dividend which is earned by the company. He will be expecting a high dividend. Means in the yield method there are 2 ways. One where a investor is concerned about his dividends. So he will expect that he will be more concerned, a small investor will be more concerned on the dividends, how much will he be able to earn by investing in a company. But there is another aspect. If the investor has acquired large number of shares in a company, then the investor is more concerned with the earning capacity of the company rather than the dividends paid. When the investor has invested in large number of shares, now when he is having large number of shares, he will be more concerned on the profits earned by the company, not the dividends, because dividend is short term, current kitna dividend diya. But earnings are dependent on this. When he has large number of shares in the company, his interest is big. So he will be more concerned on the expected earnings of the company. So that is the difference between expected dividend and expected earnings. So when you are talking about yield, you are talking about return. In this method, there are two ways in which uh, we will be calculating the value of the share. So value of the shares will be calculated on two basis. One, expected dividend basis, and second, expected earning basis. Dividend is when when less number of shares are there by an investor, and earning is when large number of shares are there, have been purchased by an investor. So let us first understand expected, let us first understand expected dividend basis. Let us first understand expected dividend basis. So expected dividend basis, expected dividend basis may be used for valuation, of small lots of equity shares, or preference shares. We are talking about valuation of shares, so it includes both the shares, equity as well as preference. Hence it is not useful, for valuation on amalgamation, because on amalgamation large number of shares are purchased, not small lots, large number of shares. तो amalgamation में ये method useful नहीं है, because यहाँ पे हम expected dividend basis is for a valuation of small lot of equity or preference shares. So it is not concerned for valuation or amalgamation. So what we will do, so this is used. However, we can use this method. However, the dividend yield can be used to compute normal rate of return. Now, what is normal rate of return? I had explained in the last time also. Normal rate of return means that what is the minimum return which is expected in a particular industry. Means when you are doing a business in a particular industry, what is the minimum rate of return that is expected? So that is known as normal rate of return. So we can also use this expected dividend method, yield method, to compute the normal rate of return. When normal rate of return is not given, so we can compute that normal rate of return using this method of yield method का जो dividend basis है, उससे we can calculate the normal rate of return. So what is the formula here? The formula here is expected rate of dividend, expected rate of dividend divide by normal rate of return या rate of dividend, normal rate of dividend, which should be given. If not given, we will have to calculate paid up value of shares. So here what we are concerned, here in this method, we are concerned with expected rate of dividend, normal rate of dividend, and paid up value of shares. Whatever, or what else? or we will say dividend which is given in rupees. Dividend is given in rupees, expected dividend is given in rupees. Normal rate of dividend, normal rate of dividend, this will be percentage. Normal rate of dividend into 100, into 100, normal rate of dividend into 100. ये methods when dividend is given in rupees, when dividend is given in rupees, हमारा फॉर्मूला क्या रहेगा? डिविडेंड इन रुपीस डिवाइड बाय नॉर्मल रेट ऑफ डिविडेंड इनटू 100, वी विल गेट द वैल्यू ऑफ शेयर as per the value of share as per the dividend yield method. We will get the value of share as per the dividend yield method. So अगर dividend rupees में दिया है तो ये फॉर्मूला, अगर dividend percentage में दिया है, expected rate of dividend, rate of dividend means it's rate means percentage, divide by normal rate, rate means percentage, into paid up value is one share is of 10 rupees, one share is of 100 rupees. वैसा करके we will get the value per share as per yield method on the basis of expected dividend. So this is, यहाँ पे अगर expected rate of dividend, यहाँ पे हम क्या compute करेंगे? What will we compute here? We will have to compute the expected rate of dividend. We will have to compute the expected rate of dividend. एक्सपेक्टेड रेट ऑफ डिविडेंड के लिए यहाँ पे हम दो तरीका है टू फाइंड आउट द एक्सपेक्टेड रेट ऑफ डिविडेंड. सो एक्स द अमाउंट ऑफ dividend expected may be calculated or may be ascertained on the following basis, which is one is average of past dividends. पास्ट में जितना भी डिविडेंड मिला है उसका एवरेज निकालना. दूसरा है टू फाइंड आउट फ्रॉम द एस्टिमेटेड फ्यूचर dividends of the company. These are the two methods from which what we can do, we can calculate the expected rate of dividend. To calculate the expected rate of dividend, we have two methods. The first one is what we do, we take the average of past dividend. Past dividends are given in the company, given in the question. Past dividends are given in the question. So what we will do, we will have to take the average of those past dividends. How to take the average? So dividend in year 1 plus dividend in year 2 plus dividend in x years. मतलब जितने भी साल का डिविडेंड दिया है, एवरीथिंग हैज टू बी एडेड एंड डिवाइड बाय नंबर ऑफ years. We will get the average of past dividends. Getting the point? What we will do, we have been given dividends paid in the past 5 years. We are being given with the dividend paid in the past 5 years. Dividend in year 1, dividend in year 2, 3, 4, 5. So सबको we will add and we will divide with the number of years, that is 5. We will get the expected rate of dividend by average of past dividends. That is one way. Our second way is what? Estimating future dividends. Estimating future dividends of the company. Future dividends. So ये कैसे करना है? इसके लिए हमें suppose what is given. Let me prepare a table here. Let me prepare a table here. When we are future dividends के बारे में देखना है तो particulars rupees. तो यहाँ पे what we will do, we have been given with the, what have we given with the profit after tax. Suppose यहाँ पे हमें क्या दिया है? Adjusted profits दिया है. Adjusted profits of, सपोज एडजस्टेड प्रॉफिट्स दिया है, या तो हमें दिया है फ्यूचर मेंटेनेबल प्रॉफिट. लेट मी राइट इट एज एफएमपी. व्हाट इज गिवन? एफएमपी इज गिवन. बट हम एफएमपी में क्या ऐड नहीं करते? एफएमपी में हम नॉन ट्रेडिंग इनकम नहीं, गुडविल कैलकुलेट करते वक्त, वाइल कैलकुलेटिंग द गुडविल, हम क्या नहीं लेते थे? नॉन ट्रेडिंग इनकम नहीं लेते थे. अब यहाँ पे अगर हमें गुडविल और शेयर्स, दैट इज अ क्वेश्चन इन विच वी हैव टू कैलकुलेट बोथ गुडविल एज वेल एज शेयर्स. तो गुडविल कैलकुलेट करते वी मस्ट हैव गॉट द एफएमपी, फ्यूचर मेंटेनेबल प्रॉफिट. सो इसमें हमने नॉन ट्रेडिंग इनकम, बिकॉज हम इनकम फ्रॉम इन्वेस्टमेंट सब नहीं कंसिडर करते. So here while calculating shares we will have to consider income from investment, because जो dividend देते हैं shareholders को, that is given from this income also. Non trading income also is included to pay the dividend. Non trading incomes are also considered to pay dividend, so this also has to be added. So while calculating the estimated future dividend, हमारे पास जो भी FMP है, future maintainable profit given in the question, उसमें we will add the non-trading income. So after that what we will do, we have got the income. So we have got the income. So with income, suppose income या net profit, what we will do, net profit आफ्टर टैक्स, नेट प्रॉफिट आफ्टर टैक्सेस. टैक्स भी पे करना है. सो टैक्स में वो बता नहीं रही हूँ, बिफोर टैक्स आफ्टर टैक्स नहीं बता रही हूँ, टैक्स पे किया. अगर ये बिफोर टैक्स होगा नेट प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स, इफ इट इज नेट प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स, सो हमें क्या लेस करना पड़ेगा? वी विल हैव टू लेस टैक्स, वी विल हैव टू लेस इनकम टैक्स. सो वो मैंने ऑलरेडी ऐसे ही माइनस कर दिया था, बट नाउ to show you all I will minus that also. Then what we will get? Then we will get net profit after tax. Net profit after tax. So ये net profit after tax में हमें less करना है. What we will less? We will less preference dividend. We will less preference dividend. We will less expected transfer to reserve. Expected transfer to reserve. And what we will get is estimated amount of future dividends. Expected amount of future dividends. What we have calculated. This we will take in the formula. This we will take in the formula. So the formula will be expected rate. हमें क्या चाहिए? एक्सपेक्टेड रेट ऑफ डिविडेंड चाहिए, पर हमें तो इधर अमाउंट मिला है. we want expected amount, we want expected rate of dividend, तो वो कैसे मिलेगा? उसके लिए प्रॉफिट अवेलेबल और इक्विटी डिविडेंड, इक्विटी डिविडेंड के लिए जो प्रॉफिट अवेलेबल है डिवाइड बाय पेड, पेड अप इक्विटी कैपिटल, पेड अप इक्विटी कैपिटल इनटू 100. सो मुझे क्या चाहिए इन द फॉर्मूला? आई वॉन्ट द एक्सपेक्टेड रेट ऑफ डिविडेंड, बट यहाँ पे तो मेरे को एस्टिमेटेड अमाउंट ऑफ फ्यूचर डिविडेंड मिला है, तो उससे मुझे आई वॉन्ट टू फाइंड आउट द एक्सपेक्टेड रेट. तो ये जो भी अमाउंट आया है डिवाइड बाय पेड अप इक्विटी कैपिटल, मीन्स कैपिटल पर शेयर वैल्यू नहीं चाहिए, कि इक्विटी कैपिटल चाहिए, इनटू 100 करेंगे तो वी विल गेट द रेट ऑफ रिटर्न, expected rate of dividend. So that divide by normal rate of return into paid up value of shares, we will get the value of equity share as per yield method. Correct? Now this method में एक और है, ये method में there is one more variety, that is expected earning basis. हमें क्या चाहिए? एक्सपेक्टेड अर्निंग बेसिस चाहिए. तो एक्सपेक्टेड अर्निंग बेसिस के लिए वन मोर थिंग, यहाँ पे अगर हमें प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स का कैलकुलेट करना है बिफोर गोइंग टू अर्निंग, इफ वी वांट टू कैलकुलेट द वैल्यू ऑफ प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स, वैल्यू ऑफ प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स कैसे करना है? वैल्यू ऑफ प्रेफरेंस शेयर्स, एक्सपेक्टेड rate of dividend divide by normal rate of dividend, NRR, normal rate of dividend, normal rate of dividends into 100. So we will get value of preference shares. Also formula, अगर प्रेफरेंस शेयर का वैल्यू एज पर यील्ड मेथड निकालने बोला तो दैट आल्सो वी हैव टेकन. नाउ वी विल कम टू एक्सपेक्टेड अर्निंग बेसिस, which is also called as earning capacity method, earning capacity method, earning capacity method. So what we will do here, earning capacity method. So here, this, as I have told you earlier also, that here we are concerned on the earnings of the company, because we are concerned with the earnings made by the company, not when large number of shares are purchased by an investor. He is more concerned on the earnings made by the company. So here what will be our formula? Here our formula is expected, वहाँ पे dividend था, यहाँ पे है expected rate of earnings, expected rate of earnings divide by normal rate of earnings, normal rate of earnings into paid up value of shares. So this is the formula, expected rate of earnings divide by normal rate of earnings into paid up value of share. This is for which method? This is for expected, this is for expected earning basis, or you may say as earning capacity method. So here, how to calculate the expected earnings? How to calculate the expected earnings? So for expected earnings, expected earnings, what we will do for expected earnings, again I will draw the table. Expected earnings के लिए I'll draw a table for expected earnings. So expected earnings के लिए what we will do, our future maintainable profit, इसमें फ्यूचर मेंटेनेबल प्रॉफिट हमें गुडविल से मिल जाएगा, फ्यूचर मेंटेनेबल प्रॉफिट, एंड इसमें हम ऐड करेंगे नॉन ट्रेडिंग income, because non-trading income is also considered for paying the valuation of shares, डिविडेंड पे करने में भी यूज होता है. इसमें से लेस करेंगे प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड, इसमें से लेस करेंगे प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड. सी व्हाट इज इम्पोर्टेंट हियर इज, जो देखो, when you are concerned about the future earnings of the company, when you are concerned with the future earnings of the company, you will pay attention on the reserves. मतलब जो reserves आज जो saving हो रहा है, what are the reserves? Reserves are the savings of today which will help us in the future. So when you are concerned about the dividend, आप सोचोगे कि जितना कम रिजर्व्स में पैसे डालेंगे उतना ज्यादा डिविडेंड मिलेगा. What is dividend? हम क्या करते हैं? What does the company do? It keeps aside some money for reserves and the remaining it may pay as dividend. But when you are more concerned about the earnings, that time what you will do, that time आप क्या करोगे, आपके लिए रिजर्व्स इंपॉर्टेंट रहेगा, बिकॉज टुडेस रिजर्व विल बी टुमारोज डिविडेंड. आज आप जो मतलब आप वो आज के रिजर्व से कल आप फ्यूचर में एक्सपेंशन बिजनेस को और एक्सपैंड करके हायर डिविडेंड कमा सकते हो. So therefore here in the earning, expected earnings, हमने रिजर्व को लेस नहीं किया है, हमने प्रेफरेंस डिविडेंड लेस किया, एंड हमें जो मिलता है that will be expected earnings available, expected earnings available. So ये expected, मुझे तो rate of earning चाहिए. I don't want the expected rate of earnings. So how to calculate the expected rate of earnings? उसके लिए what we will do, हमें जो expected earnings मिला है, expected earnings divide by paid up equity capital, paid up equity capital into 100 will be our फॉर्मूला. तो पेड अप कैपिटल में अगर क्वेश्चन में बोलते हैं दैट ये पेड अप कैपिटल में इंक्लूड द रिजर्व्स ऑल्सो, इंक्लूड द रिजर्व्स ऑल्सो, तो हमें रिजर्व्स को भी इंक्लूड करना पड़ेगा. तो वो हो जाएगा पेड अप इक्विटी कैपिटल प्लस रिजर्व्स एंड सरप्लस. ये जो पेड अप कैपिटल यहाँ पे देखो, उसके आगे क्वेश्चन में नथिंग इज टोल्ड, इट विल बी एक्सपेक्टेड अर्निंग्स डिवाइड बाय पेड अप इक्विटी कैपिटल. बट if they say that expected earnings capital employed के बेसिस में निकालो, तो हमें क्या चाहिए रहेगा, हमें चाहिए रहेगा इक्विटी शेयर होल्डर्स फंड, जिसमें इक्विटी कैपिटल भी रहेगा, रिजर्व्स भी रहेगा, प्लस लॉन्ग टर्म लोन्स. इफ दे से दैट दे वांट कैपिटल एम्प्लॉयड, सो वी शुड सी दैट व्हाट इज गिव asked in the question. Accordingly we will have to use the formula here. नेक्स्ट यहाँ पे ही एक्सपेक्टेड अर्निंग्स में ही एक और वैरायटी है जिसको हम बोलते हैं कैपिटलाइजेशन ऑफ एफएमपी या कैपिटलाइजेशन ऑफ अर्निंग्स. capitalization of earnings, you may call it as capitalization of FMP, but this is for valuation of shares. ये जो मेथड है ये किसके लिए है? वैल्यूएशन ऑफ शेयर्स के लिए है। तो इसमें हम क्या करते हैं, हम हमारे अर्निंग्स को जो है उसको पूरा वैल्यू ऑफ द बिजनेस, इफ यू आर अर्निंग 10 रुपीज, व्हाट इज द 100% वैल्यू, व्हाट इज द वैल्यू ऑफ द बिजनेस, हमें अर्निंग्स का जो परसेंटेज है उसको हमें कन्वर्ट करना है टू द वैल्यू ऑफ द बिजनेस। तो कैपिटलाइजेशन ऑफ अर्निंग्स, यहाँ पे हम वैल्यूएशन कैसे, वी विल कैपिटलाइजेशन ऑफ अर्निंग्स और एफएमपी, इसके मेथड में हाउ विल वी सॉल्व। तो यहाँ पे व्हाट वी विल डू, इसका फॉर्मूला है कैपिटलाइज्ड वैल्यू ऑफ अर्निंग्स, कैपिटलाइज्ड वैल्यू ऑफ अर्निंग्स, इसका फॉर्मूला है एक्सपेक्टेड अर्निंग्स, जो हमें अभी मिला, एक्सपेक्टेड अर्निंग्स डिवाइड बाय नॉर्मल रेट ऑफ रिटर्न इनटू 100। मीन्स अगर ये एक्सपेक्टेड अर्निंग्स, व्हाट इज द नॉर्मल रेट, तो नॉर्मल रेट ऑफ रिटर्न, as I have told you, is the minimum return which is expected in a particular industry. When we do a business, इतना तो हम एक्सपेक्ट करते, इतना मिनिमम रिटर्न होना चाहिए फॉर द रिस्क, फॉर द फाइनेंशियल रिस्क दैट वी आर इनकरिंग फॉर। नॉर्मली अगर आप बैंक में भी पैसा जमा करते हो तो आपको एक रिटर्न मिलता है, तो नॉर्मल रेट ऑफ रिटर्न विल बी हायर देन दैट रिटर्न, बिकॉज नहीं तो आप पैसा वहीं पे बैंक में ही जमा करो ना। आप बिजनेस क्यों कर रहे हो? बिजनेस करने के लिए जो आप रिस्क लेने के लिए रेडी हो, उसके लिए जो आपको एक्स्ट्रा रिटर्न मिलना चाहिए, दैट इज द नॉर्मल रेट ऑफ रिटर्न। इट विल बी ऑलवेज हायर देन द अमाउंट ऑफ रिटर्न दैट यू get when you keep your amount, when you keep your money in the, when you keep your money in the what do you say, in the bank. So here, so value of share कैसे find out करेंगे अंदर capitalization method? तो value of each equity share या value of equity share is equal to capitalized value of earnings, capitalized value of earnings divide by paid up capital, divide by paid up capital, we want the paid up capital into paid up value per share, paid up value per share. So what is the value of each equity share? It is capitalized value of earning, जो कि आपको पहले स्टेप से मिलेगा, upon paid up capital into paid up value per share. This method, इसको हम क्या बोलते हैं, कैपिटलाइजेशन ऑफ अर्निंग्स बोल सकते हैं या कैपिटलाइजेशन ऑफ एफएमपी मेथड भी बोल सकते हैं। सो इसके साथ नाउ वी कम टू द लास्ट मेथड which is known as fair value method, our third and the last method, which is known as fair value method, fair value method, our last method, which is known as fair value method. And as I told you, this is not a method but a for compromise formula। बोलते हैं यहाँ पे हम क्या करते हैं, हम यहाँ पे दोनों का एवरेज लेते हैं। सो फेयर वैल्यू इज इक्वल टू व्हाट, इट इज net value, net asset method value of share, net asset method value of share plus yield method value of share, method value of share डिवाइड बाय, इसको जरा ब्रैकेट में क्लोज करती हूँ, डिवाइड बाय 2, डिवाइड बाय 2 you will get the fair value method valuation of share. Net asset value में net asset method में what value you have got for the share plus yield method value of share divide by 2, you get the fair value valuation of share. So you get the fair value valuation of share. So with this explanation, I will end today's lecture, and what we will do in the next lecture, we will start up with the sums. We'll start up with the sums. Thank you very much, everyone.